So thank you for joining us. And I am really pleased to have Bruce Himmelblau here today to present to us. Bruce is a producer and content marketing strategist. Blue Sky Video Productions has presented on content and video marketing at local and national conferences. Blue Sky has worked with businesses to create strategies to increase awareness, build traffic, and generate leads. So Bruce, take it away and educate us all.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you're looking at my screen, but for a second there. So basically, this is one of the tricks that I just developed, and I know it's an old trick, even with because a lot of people are recording their videos for YouTube on their computers, and they usually have a tendency of looking down, which is where their image is, because people like to look at themselves and to get feedback on who they are, what they're doing, and how it looks like. But it doesn't really work because you're not really getting eye contact with your clients. So what I've decided to do, and this is just a crude form of it, is what you do is you draw a picture of a face. This is your avatar. This is a person you're trying to connect with. And then you poke some really big holes in the eyes. And then so when you poke the holes in the eyes, then you put the eye right over the camera. And actually, I think this might actually be, yeah. So you poke the eyes and you put it over the camera, and then you're looking up at the person and not necessarily at yourself.
That is a great tip.
And often feels so weird though, staring right into your camera lens, but I understand.
You're right.
Now you're no longer looking at camera. Yeah, now you're not looking at your camera lens. You're now looking at your avatar. You're looking at the person you're trying to connect with. And and this is really getting into YouTube as well, and YouTube marketing, is you want to create a video for a specific person, not because usually like, okay, so who's your target market? Well, everybody's my target market. Everybody wants to buy a house. Everybody wants to buy my cereal for breakfast. So everybody is not your audience. There are some people who just bought a house. There are some people who are living in an apartment, they're not married, they don't need a house. So everybody is not your audience. So what you can do is develop what in the business called avatar, or a target market, a person specifically, using demographics, age, economic status, location, sex, and things like that. Although I understand you're not supposed to talk about sex and politics and religion, but for demographics, it's okay to not talk about sex. So again, if you have that picture, go onto online and find that picture of that person who you want to talk to, and name that person. I know one person who's written a book, and actually this is probably a really good book if you want to get into video full time. It's called Vlog Like a Boss. Actually, let me quick shout out. This is Amy. Her name is Amy Landino now, but the book is under Amy Schmittauer. So it's how to kill it online with online vlogging. And she's got a lot of good tips in here too. So if you want to pick up that book, I think there's a Kindle version as well. So again, she's named her avatar, and she has developed a content. So again, let's get into the slideshow real quickly. So share my screen here.
Well, I think, you touched on something, Bruce, that, we've been looking, really developing at the Chamber, which is a way to better understand who your audience is. And that is the development of these, persona profiles of people types. And it's really just to get a better understanding of your audience and what their needs are, what their values are, and if they need your services, how is it that what you are doing or not doing. I mean, it can tell you a lot about what you're doing or not doing, depending upon what your audience needs are.
Yep. And again, with your target market, you're primarily Highland Park. You're not going to try to get people from Antioch. You're not going to try to get people from Oklahoma. So
Correct.
again, you've got a geographic demographic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't own a business, then you're not going to join the chamber. But I know some chambers who actually are creating communities. So they got non-business owners to come in and join the chamber to support the chamber and support the businesses.
Right, individual supporters in
Mhm.
terms of, people who want to support the chamber because of the work they do on behalf of the community.
Right. And then you're creating
Mhm.
content like this on YouTube, where people can come to your channel and learn more about you. And it's content like this is value content that pulls them in. So if they're looking for
Mhm.
information about YouTube, how to get started on YouTube, how to be a small business on YouTube, I'm titling this program, How to Promote Your YouTube Channel.
Mhm.
Using these titles, using these tags, using these descriptions, you get discovered. And so, which is a great tie-in to, let's see, share screen. So I'm going to be looking over here a little bit because that's where my slides are, and then you're here. So if you have a question, feel free to jump in and ask a question. So again, I'm on multiple channels. If you want to share this out, hashtags are valuable in both finding content as well as getting discovered with content. Scott, you asked about how to get found. Hashtags are a great way to get found, especially if you share those in Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And then use a constant number of hashtags that you identify with, both branded hashtags as well as general hashtags. So my branded hashtag is YouTube Strategist. So if you go to any platform and type in hashtag YouTube Strategist, I should come up within the first 5 or 10. Sometimes I'm all 10 of those results. Video marketing is a general hashtag. So if people are looking for video marketing in general, again, on your YouTube channel, you can put in hashtags in your description, and that helps people find you. So we talked about branding. Brand yourself, brand your company, and be true to your brand. And branding is pretty much what people say about you when you're not in the room. And so it's what you convey and what they think about you. And so here are some of the companies that are really hitting out of the ballpark on YouTube. Number 1 is Lego. Number 2, Disney. And if you check out their channels to kind of see how they're engaging in their platform, BMW is a product-based auto company. And Google themselves, Google is using YouTube to not only promote Google, but also to promote YouTube. And there's a lot of content on how to use Google and how to, because Google makes money, the more you're on the internet, the more you see Google and Google ads. GoPro, Nike, Red Bull, you've seen a lot of those. Victoria's Secret, Chanel for makeup, and the WWE. So these are brands that are ranked really high on their engagement and their activity on YouTube. And so there are 2 basic platforms for getting found on YouTube, and that's organic and paid. Organic is what you post out there, what gets shared, what you gets engaged. Paid is actually buying ads. You've seen those pre-rolled before you watch a video on YouTube. Those are paid ads. And the great thing about those is that you don't have to actually pay for those ads until the viewer has watched at least 30 seconds of that ad, or if that ad is running less than 30 seconds, watching that entire ad. And as a viewer,
I didn't know that either. That's really cool.
Yeah, so again, in the first, you've got that option to skip that ad on some channels that give you like 5 seconds. And so with those ads, you want to have your value proposition in those first 5 seconds. So they get the point of who you are, what you do. And if they're interested, they're going to stick around and watch more of that ad. And if they're not, at least they've seen that portion of it. That can put you top of mind. And with regular feeding of that ad to that demographic, they're going to see that ad over and over again. And then maybe after watching it 8 or 9 times, they'll say, yeah, maybe I'm interested in this after all, and they'll actually watch the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's with paid. And then with almost on the same vein, there's a difference of selling and value, or advertising and brand content. This is brand content. This is value added content. We're not trying to say, we're not throwing up an ad saying, join your local Chamber of Commerce, join the Highland Park Chamber of Commerce today and get more out of your local chamber and for education and business and networking, things like that. So an ad is going to be shorter. It's going to be almost hitting your head over it. It's going to have a direct call to action in the first 5 to 15 seconds. And it's going to most likely not be shared very often, because people aren't really sharing commercials unless you're
Mm-hmm.
something like Apple. If you remember those Apple commercials way back where they had, I'm a PC and I'm a Mac. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
people love those ads because they're entertaining and they share those ads. And so if you can create a ad like that, where people find it humorous, people find it engaging, they're going to share something like that. But not every small business has the marketing budget of an Apple computer. And so they're going to try to go with a direct sale. Here we are, here's our latest line of clothing, come in and buy this today, as opposed to going with long game, which is, here's my shirt, this is how well it feels, and this is the fabric it's made out of. And then do another one tomorrow, here's a pair of shoes, this is how they look, this is how they feel, this is what they're used for. And the next day do another piece of clothing. And a clothing store has got a lot of content if they want to do that, something like that, but it's a long game.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to with a commercial where it's basically like just keep on hitting them with the commercial and get them interested and get them engaged, and then they'll call you up and ask for the sale. Talking about getting found, Google friendly keywords. If you just type in keyword planner into Google, it will show up and you'll get this. And basically what this is you enter a URL keyword that you want to look for, like a meal delivery or leather boots, and it will give you related keywords and show you the rankings of people searching for those keywords in your area. So if you type in real estate sales or home buyer, or some words that somebody looking for a new home, or homes in my location, it will show, Google will show you who's looking for those terms in your area. And sometimes it could be maybe 5 or 10 people, and sometimes it could be thousands of people.
Is it specifically people in your area or overall?
It will give you both nationally and locally.
Cool.
Do you define your area? Or
yeah,
does it define an area for you?
You can define the area.
Thank you.
But Google knows where you live. Google knows everything about you.
That's because Big Brother has been watching us for years, so.
Well, actually, the advantage of logging into Google and going on Google so that they know your location, they know your search history, they're going to feed you information that is relevant to who you are and what you do and what you like. So if you're getting into politics, and these days pretty much everybody kind of is, they're going to start feeding you content that's related to what your previous searches are. So if you can turn that off, you can go into incognito mode onto Google, and in which case you're going to, as a man, 20 or as a 58-year-old man, you're going to get kids' toys commercials, you're going to get women product commercials, because they don't know who you are and they're just generating ads to people who did not specify a specific target market. So again, here, on YouTube, create custom thumbnails. That's what gets people engaged. There are actually three things that are actually four things that really matter in any YouTube video. Number one is a headline. That's like a newspaper, that's what grabs attention, that what gets you ranked. A thumbnail, so when people see that impression of that image, is it interesting enough for them to actually click on it? But
So you
also,
can choose an image, Bruce, because you know how sometimes when you have a video and you're caught, with your eyes closed or your mouth open or whatever, you can pick an image to be the thumbnail, correct?
yes, and actually, if you have not verified your channel,
Ah,
and this is something that everybody should do. Once you're verified, you can actually add custom thumbnails. You're actually also allowed videos that are longer than 10 minutes, because if you're not verified, you're only allowed up to 10-minute videos.
thank you.
So you must be verified, because we've uploaded longer videos that run an hour.
We are verified, and I do upload custom thumbnails, just to assure you.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Fill out your profile entirely, be consistent with your branding. Here is your description. So if you go to your about page, click information, I always recommend that you add your contact information, because if people are getting to the point where they're clicking on the about page, they're looking how to contact you. And if you don't have a general email or a way to directly contact you, even a phone number, then they're going to still start poking around the internet and maybe find your competitor. Optimize your descriptions, so you front load with keywords. So the words that show up in the beginning sometimes have more importance than the stuff that shows up at the end. Another recommendation I have is to put in a link to your website or to a web page that you want people to go to, because when your video shows up in a Google search, the first two lines of that description also show up in that Google search. So it's quite possible that they may never even go to your video. Maybe they found the information they had just in that Google search, and then when they see your website there, they click on that link directly from that Google search and never even go to that YouTube video. And YouTube actually adds more credibility to your page, so that there was a study a couple of years ago that indicated that if you include video on a page of your website, that web page is 53 times more probable of showing up in search than that same page that did not have a video connected to it. Which then basically says, well, I just have to upload a video. It doesn't have to be a good video, it just has to be a video. And I can get that results. But then they click on that video, and if the video doesn't convey who you are, what you do, and a good call to action, you're going to lose that sale. Offer real value. So what the problem does it solve? Is it entertaining, and will it improve the viewers' lives? So that it isn't just a straightforward commercial, it is content. And here's 4 types of video content. There's a lot more, but these are the general four that I use, which are explainer videos, which are kind of like who you are, what you do. Some of them are in animated form, and then others can be in a who you are, standing in front of the camera, demonstrating a product, which takes us to the next one, which is a product demo, which can educate the viewer. Maybe it's customer support. They just bought your product and they're not really sure how to use it. So you can add videos to your YouTube channel and then to your website. That can get them that step further, and they don't have to actually call you at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, I'm trying to do this and I need help now. And if you cater to an international audience, 2:00 a.m. in Central Time, maybe 3 p.m. Daylight daylight time for them. So how-tos, again, how to perform, work with a product. It doesn't even have to be your own product. It can be a number of how-tos that you discover that kind of build your brand. So if you sell lawnmowers, it's basically here's how to start a lawnmower, or here's how to take care of a lawnmower. Testimonials. I love testimonials. I actually have a slide here. Yep. Actually coming up in a couple slides here, which I'll jump to now, which is if you say it, it's bragging. If your client says it, it's a testimonial. And actually I have one client who used a series of testimonial videos to close some of the largest deals in his company history.
Wow, that's awesome.
He had put out a Google ad and had gotten some calls, and one person called him looking for funding, and they had no idea who they were or what they did. And so the person directed them to their YouTube video, which had their customers basically saying, if it weren't for this company, this person, I would have given up long ago and we would have never gotten this funding. And so not only did he blow out his sales 10x that year, but he 20x the following year. And so here's the number of testimonies we did for a business training, business coach. And so here's an explainer video that we did.
We have a hibachi grill and we have sushi. We chose a fish on fire because it's literally fish is on fire in this restaurant. If people want to sit at the regular dining, order sushi, they can still order hibachi food from there. And then people who want to have a little more fun, they can sit at the hibachi grill table and order sushi.
Great atmosphere, customer service brilliant. The freshness of the food is really amazing. They really put love into it. Their specialty, fish on fire. It's an amazing, amazing dish.
Phone number is 847-813-5360.
And so again, we produced that a couple years ago. Definitely because of social distancing, it's not the type of thing that people are actually sitting inside anymore. They might have the space outside that they are catering to. So restaurants are great promotional tools. Here's one that actually talked about the gentleman who increased their funding and try question and answers. If people have frequently asked questions, produce a video that answers those frequently asked questions and put that video on your frequently asked question page with links to others. I always say that it's better to produce 10 one-minute videos than one 10-minute video. So if you've got a frequently asked question, have one video per question and not one video for all 10 questions. Because if they have question number 8, it's going to take them a while before they get to question number 8. But so if they can go directly to that one question, then you have a link there. And you may even want to dedicate a specific web page per video. And so when people are on Google looking for something, that one specific web page can show up in that search with the answer and a video. And be active in the community. So subscribe to channels that target similar audiences and engage with those channels. So don't feel that you have content, you're going to be on your YouTube channel and you're just going to promote your YouTube channel and live on your YouTube channel. There are other YouTube channels out there. So the more you engage with them, the more the chances are that they'll come back and engage with you. So if you comment on something that they posted, then they'll look at your profile, they'll respond to that comment, and then, well, well, I see this person has similar content. Let me check them out. And I think I had this slide up last week for Facebook and Instagram, but again, it holds over for YouTube as well, which is share other people's content, curate their content, share their video in a blog post, and include it in an email newsletter. There are platforms that actually you can embed a video, and then they don't have to actually click out of that. And then work with brands, suppliers and vendors and customers. So similarly here, where you're reaching out to chamber members to create content for the chamber, a business can reach out to their vendors and say, let's do some shared content. Or a customer, it's like, okay, you love our product, let's interview you about who you are, what you do, and maybe we'll talk about my product too. So by engaging with them, they're going to share that with their friends and family. Like, I was just interviewed on this program. You've got to watch this. And then they start sharing out your content. And influencers. If you find an influencer you get to know and engage with them, that can actually boost your profile even more so. Curated content or collaborating. When you collaborate with a social media influencer, you're getting exposed to their audience. And also not every single influencer that you know, your audience knows. So here is a short list of people who I've actually had on my show over the past few months. So Scott McCain, it was on a couple weeks ago, based on today's recording. And then I also, in the past, I had Sumon Height from Gift Biz Gals, and Sonia Figueroa, who is a real estate agent who uses Instagram and Facebook to get leads. And then coming up next week, although by the time you see this video, it may actually have already occurred, but Kim Garst, who is a social media powerhouse, and she was actually named as one of the top influencers, social media influencers by Forbes magazine. So again, I guess I've got a few future content. I guess I should reach out to a number of other people. Again, Amy Schmittauer, Joel Comm, and Gary Vaynerchuk. Also the guys who wrote Freakonomics. Those are podcasts I listen to and people I follow. And again, future people who can be on my show, who can then collaborate, where I can share them with my audience and they can share me with their audience. And again, as we just kind of alluded to there, was create a series and create continual content over a period of time, because people don't subscribe to a newspaper that only comes out one time. So if you want people to engage with you, you've got to show up on a consistent basis. And if you have an idea that resonates with your audience, create a whole series of content. With Scott, with a real estate agent, you can do 5 best tips for improving your home to sell your home, or five tips on 5 tips that pay off when selling your home. And you can talk to somebody who is in rehabilitation, someone who does interior design, someone who can stage a house for you. And I know you know those type of people, Scott. So again, you can create content, and you don't have to actually do something where you're on camera all by yourself. By bringing other people in, you create a conversation. And especially if you're starting out, most people are not going to be comfortable just talking at their little avatar for an hour, because they need that feedback. And by having someone to talk to, then you've got that feedback. And also, I think your resonance and your tone is totally different talking to a green light than it is talking to a real person, which is why the avatar comes in handy. and he's still up there looking at me. So great.
That's awesome.
Okay. Again, and then have a custom look and feel. As I kind of alluded to, again, establish your authority. Not everybody has a book. So create a podcast. Make playlists. This is a strategy for your YouTube channel to make it easier for people to find your content. If you just upload video after video after video, the older videos get pushed down to off the list, and the newer videos are up the top. But maybe you had a hit. Maybe you had one video that blew it off the charts and was getting lots of views, and people come back to your YouTube channel looking for that. If it's buried in a list of a bunch of other videos, that can be difficult to find. By creating a playlist, even a playlist that says most popular videos, then that video pops up right there at the top of the list. It's also kind of a navigation tool, so that you have here are my videos about I'm still thinking of real estate. Here are my videos about showing a home. Here are my videos about me offering content about myself. Here's videos about tips and tricks of selling your home. And so each of them have their own specific playlist. And if you have someone come into your channel looking for something specific, they can find those videos there. Going live. The algorithms prefer live to pre-recorded, especially on YouTube, where most of the videos there are pre-recorded. So if you can go live, if you can engage with your customers one-on-one during the show, and get real-time feedback, you get more engagement. There's actually one program that I watch. They actually produce a pre-recorded content for, it runs maybe like half an hour, 45 minutes. And then they have live Q&A. And then what they do is they actually take that video down after the live, and they just post the pre-recorded interview portion. And the live Q&A is for the people who actually tune in live, as well as a subscriber base, a paid subscriber base that actually subscribe to their channel. And so if you weren't there live for that Q&A, you would, in order to see that, you would have to be a member of their paid program. So that's that's a way of generating income from your content, is to create a VIP club where you're offering content only for your VIPs. And again, this is
that's a neat idea. I had no idea that thank you for that.
So again, even with the Chamber of Commerce, you've got your paid members and you've got your visitors. So
Sure.
Content like this, we can maybe do a highlighted version for your YouTube channel and a full version for your paid members.
Sure.
So where this program may run an hour of real time, the available portion to your client or to your non-paid version, your non-members, can be 15-minute highlights. So again, going live, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, and which in Periscope and Twitter are the same thing. So I went live on Twitter yesterday, and that video is still up there. Although the life of a video on Twitter is even shorter than the life of video on Facebook. The life of a video on Twitter is probably an hour or two, if even that. Add call to actions. That's imperative. If you want them to do something, you got to tell them what to do. People are not just going to assume that after they watch the video, they need to call you for more information unless you tell them that. Maybe they'll go off and start looking for your competition for the videos. So if you offer something that's relevant and something that's time sensitive, then they will call you quickly. So direct mention, and also in your video itself. Yesterday I ended my video that says, For more information, to subscribe to my channel, click here for a link to my subscription page, or click here to watch a related video. And then at the end of the video, when it's all done, I actually put up an image here in my subscription icon here in the video. So by doing a direct call to action, they're going to take that action. And again, you don't want to give them more than 2 choices, ideally only 1 choice. So it's either subscribe or watch, but you don't want to say, watch this video, this video, this video, and this video, because like, what am I going to watch next?
Yeah.
Your call to action should be specific and should be limited. Then, and that's what, here you see where it says end screen. That's what I was talking about, it was the end screen. You can also add cards. Cards are an interesting concept, and they've gotten easier to use lately because of the new YouTube Studio. In what a card is, and strategically used, is you look at your watch time on your video, and when you start seeing a drop off of viewers, let's say a 30-minute video, you have drop off time around 4 or 5 minutes into your video, you throw up a card at around 4 or 5 minutes into your video and says, by the way, here's a related topic. Because if you see your audience getting bored and they want to watch something else, the card will pop up with another suggested video so that they don't totally tune out from your channel.
Mm-hmm.
And cross promote, we talked about this with collaborating with strategic partners and social media people. Promote your channel, not just your videos. So they come to your channel as a whole and get to know who you are and what you do. And maybe there's content on there that they didn't think they needed, but then when they see the first video, they get to watch more videos. And tentpole content. What tentpole content is something that everybody's talking about. The political conventions are coming up this week and next week, so people are going to be searching for both convention content. If you've got something to say, if your content is relative to that, start posting about that. After that is Labor Day, and then Halloween. I think there was a report yesterday that the Halloween candy is already hitting the stores already. So if you've got content related to that, talk about that. Holidays, again, popular movies and trends are all tentpole content. So because everybody else is searching for that content, if you're creating content with those keywords and that subject matter, your content has a possibility of showing up. And balance trending content with evergreen content. So trending content is stuff that is relevant today. Evergreen content is going to be relevant a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And so that you can continually make a combination of both. How-to videos, research, tricks and tips, and things like that. And then here's a how-to video on how to install the garage door opener with this product that has a video camera built in. And find out what works, do more of that. So if you create a content, I think I mentioned this earlier, that's getting thousands of views, create more of that content. If you create one viral video that has nothing to do with who you are, what you do, your channel may have actually been converted to that content, and you may be forced to actually start creating that type of content. There's one video on our YouTube channel, which is a unique video concert video with multiple performers combining together for one performance. It was a once-in-a-lifetime performance, and it has never been duplicated, and you cannot find anywhere else on YouTube. And so that's our biggest viewer generating content. However, it's not who we are. It's not what we do on a regular basis. Sure, we do concert videos and we do recording of events, but we also do productions like this, where we do training and we do small business videos. So we're building our audience on both platforms. And that is in a nutshell. So questions, I'm talking quickly. It's a lot of content to digest. The fact that it's recorded, you would actually go back and watch your favorite portion. I will actually work with Michael to show how to do chapter markers, so that if you have a specific idea of what you want to see, a specific portion of the video, we can actually, if you look in the show notes and the description, then you will actually see some of the tips and tricks of this program. Thanks.
What are some ways you can measure the success of your channel, or if it is successful?
Well, it depends on what your goals are. Are your goals, the way to find out if you're successful is based on your goals of what you deem success. Right now, my goal for this year is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And so we're generating more subscribers. Another goal is views. Are you measuring views? Are you measuring conversions? People always love to measure conversions, like how many video views did people click through and actually hire me to do something for them. A video conversion to a sale is one of the hardest conversions to do. But if you have content or even brand commercial content that gets them to that stage, that's a notable goal. If you click on the link for Know Your Numbers, Keith Jackson and I talked about that in a previous show on my channel. Analytics, a lot of people do not go into their analytics. They just post video after video after video. And at some point, they don't know what is successful and what isn't successful. I know one real estate agent who posts like 3 to 5 videos a day on their listings, and the listings that they have available. And those videos get maybe 3 views over a lifetime.
Do you think that people are more afraid, I guess is the word, of YouTube, reluctant to use it compared to what they might view as like the ease of using or the comfort of using Facebook or Instagram?
I think so. A lot of times on Facebook, it's so easy just to post something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a video. And when they do post a video, it's usually a really quick video of themselves. And people aren't using the video platform very much. It's mostly an image. But with YouTube, it's presenting yourself, presenting your authenticity with your audience. And again, the hardest thing is to hit that record button and do a live video or doing a pre-recorded video. But one of the advantages there is if you're in business, find someone in your company, an employee who is willing to be on camera. It doesn't have to be yourself, or even a customer. A customer can be a great advocate for your business as well. So by using YouTube, because YouTube is the #2 search engine, only behind Google itself. And so people are looking for information, people are looking for entertainment, people are looking for education. And so by being on YouTube, especially since you don't have to be on YouTube as much as you need to be on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. A conversation I was having yesterday was you need to post, 8 times a day on Twitter, 5 times a day on Instagram, and 3 times a day on Facebook. You don't have to be that active on YouTube. You can post once a week and still grow your audience. And again, because it's longer life to that content, it's less intrusive in your day. And then another trick from this book, that I showed earlier, from Blog Like a Boss, it's called batching. You can actually, if you have a Saturday open, and you can create 10 pieces of content, 10 1-minute videos over, and then you can show those videos or post those videos over a 10-week period. Or if you decide to go daily, if you produce 10 pieces of content, you can post those Monday through Friday. You now have 2 weeks of content available. And then if you do that every week or every other week, you don't have to be on that platform every day.
That's really good advice. And I think that, you know, the metrics of, you know, posting X number of times on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook can be overwhelming for people. But that idea of batching things, you know, setting aside 1 hour of your week or whatever the time frame it is to create your content and then dole it out in segments or portions makes a whole lot of sense and makes it less overwhelming, I think, for most small businesses, for sure.
And also one thing that Marilyn just reminded me of is when you do post to YouTube, you want to be in a horizontal mode because YouTube is horizontal. Although what happened lately is YouTube is actually accepting vertical videos. If you're posting something that you originally recorded for Instagram and you want to share that into a post on YouTube, YouTube will actually take vertical videos. But 99.999% of YouTube videos are horizontal. Yeah, so this is one device I got.
Video, I would do that.
So it's a tripod. And again, when you do videos, I always recommend having a stable platform so you can actually do this and it's stationary. And you can put this at eye level and record it. Some of these devices actually have a swivel, which are really nice. So they swivel vertically and horizontally, depending on whether you're going to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter.
So are you using things like, you know, I've heard about ring lights and green screens and all these things. Do you think that's necessary, or is it kind of for the pros?
Lighting is also very important. Here's what I look like without light. I've got a window.
God.
I've got a window in front of me. So even though I've got a lamp here, but just kind of it's in a room lamp, and then I've got a window in front of me. So I mean, I don't look awful, but I now have more facial. The flesh tones are better. The lens actually pulls down a little bit, so the background is darker. So I'm separated from my background.
I'm so glad you addressed lighting, Bruce, because that was one of the questions. Michael and I had talked about that the other day. And for me, you know, I struggle with that here because I feel, you know, looking at your face, you want to see people's faces and facial expressions. And when they are in that kind of shadow, it's difficult and it's a little annoying. So thank you for addressing that.
So
thanks for raising that, Marilyn.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so again, one thing I've always liked is those dramas, like especially the superhero dramas on television, where there is really like harsh lighting on one side and dark on the other side, depending on direction of your light. So if you've got a window relatively there, then you've got half your face covered or in shadow. It's great for drama. It's not necessarily great for on camera. And so basically what a ring light does effectively is you're putting your camera in the center of the ring, and the ring is all the way around it, and it evenly lights you across. This light is up slightly to the side. You'll see a little bit of shadow right here. I think just as it helps the separation. Separation meaning your person is not up against a wall. And that's one thing, again, I really dislike in videos, is if you're here up against a wall, or even worse, way or far from your microphone with too much headroom. There's really, and you get distracted because what do you look at? Because this is more, this is larger than I am, and the microphone is way up there. you're not really sure what you're looking at. So in YouTube and video in general, really, you want to give them what to look at. And people will look at what's most prevalent in the picture and also what's moving in the picture. So if you all of a sudden start getting something down here that's doing this, even though you're trying to look at me, there's something down here moving, your eyes are going to go down here to what's moving, which is a great trick, because honestly, like, see, look, and then you start pointing at something. When you start pointing at something, then they start looking at that. So again, it's where you direct your attention to. And that's in video in general and your content in general.
Lots of great information.
This was amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bruce.
Good to see everybody.
Bye, bye, Marilyn.
One call to action is subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the Highland Park Chamber here.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll go and subscribe.